Yeah. Fresh out the cell with a plan and a boo. Anklet beeping, but my heart's beating for you. Let's go. Met her on a prison pen pal site. She said you cute even in that orange light. Now I'm home and I'm free, kinda on probation. She picked me up in a Prius, pure elation. Got a teardrop tat and a heart full of dreams. She brought cupcakes and some government cheese. I said, girl, you a snack, maybe even a feast. She said, you just hungry cause you live with the beast. Love after lockup, wild and free. Got no keys, but she got the key to me. From yard time to FaceTime, look at us glow. From prison phone calls to reality show. Love after lockup, we don't play. Tinder got nothing on JPay. I did my time, now I'm doing hers. Doing laundry and love, both in spurts.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Love After Lockup Lockdown, where we are covering Season 2, Episode 26. As always, you can find us in our Facebook group and on Instagram at Love After Lockup Lockdown. I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Lisa.
And this week, we are covering Season 2, Episode 26, Love is a Sickness. Lisa, how are you?
I'm doing good. And we want to say thank you for everyone that is in our Facebook group. It has grown to now 28.1 thousand people. And we also do have a Facebook page. So that has 1.5 thousand people. So if we took even like a fraction of those people in our Facebook group and have them head over to our Facebook page for our podcast, like it, follow it, and you can, review us, rate us there. That'll all help. But maybe you could help us out a little bit. Head on over to our actual page for the podcast. That would be awesome. But thank you everyone for contributing to the group and having it grow so quickly. It's insane.
It's fantastic. Well, this week we start off with Lacey, John, and Shane. And Lacey's waiting outside the prison for Shane.
Yeah, it's his release day. I just want to say real quick that this episode, I'm like, what in the hell is happening in this? All I can say is full on shit show from start to end. All she can talk about is how super concerned she is about his level of sexiness and whether he's actually going to be as sexy as she thinks he's going to be.
Is he as sexy as the picture she saw? Because he's sexy.
Oh, he's so sexy. He's full of sexiness. He oozes sexiness.
She says Shane could be the guy she's looking for, which you can tell that she feels that way by the fact that her fiancé is supposed to parole to her house in 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh. This girl, I don't know where the hell her head is at as far as like relationships are concerned, but just whatever.
So he comes out and she starts cackling like a mad woman and running towards him. And I was like, what is this laugh?
I know. She's giddy. She turns off and on her different personalities. Sometimes she's super cutesy and Paris Hilton voice, and other times I don't know. Not my favorite girl so far.
So he tells her that it's good to meet her and she's so sexy. So I guess they both have the same thing on their mind.
He says she's beautiful, and all she's excited about, not that there is anything else in the world about the fact that he's just so hot. She's just excited that he's hot, that she's right, and that he's actually hot, because that's what's important.
Yeah, he's indescribably hot, she says.
Yeah.
And she starts jumping up and down.
Yep. He does say that, and we know this from what she said, that he did put an ad on the inmate dating sites, which I think that they all do. And I was thinking about this, I don't necessarily think it's ever to find love. I think it's to find people to put money on their JPay, I think it's called, right? So that they can get snacks and drugs. And
that's not over. I mean, that may be a portion of them, but that's not everybody who's doing it. Not everybody is out.
Yeah. I mean, on the show at least. It's
Well, the
it's a
show's not a
big
fair
factor.
representation.
Yeah. It just seems to be just like a big factor. It's always something that's like, I don't know, talked about. Maybe they just like they do it initially for selfish reasons, and then they just so happen to accidentally find love. Well, some of them actually
I mean,
find love.
you can just be lonely. I think prison would be a very lonely place, and you would want somebody to talk to and somebody to think about and to feel about. So I I think what happens is at least a portion of them are genuine in the communications that they have with the person on the outside, but then they get out and realize, "Hey, this isn't the same life I was living, and now I'm significantly less interested in you."
Yeah, exactly. But as with any relationship that you don't really see each other in person very often, or if at all, say like an online relationship, a long distance relationship, everything's always going to be different and weird when you're in it and you're like in front of each other and it's real life now.
Right. So on day 1, he calls her the love of his life, which seemed really weird to me.
Yeah. Yep. Especially because we do know that this is the very first time they are actually seeing each other face to face. They never video called, never met each other, never kissed, never hugged, never touched, nothing.
And then she has to share with us. She says, Shane wants to get breakfast. I'll be his breakfast."
Of course, she said that. And he actually says she's his beauty and he's the beast. So far, to me, Shane seems normal. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know, but pretty normal right now. And I guess as authentic as he could be, he doesn't look shady or anything. He's not coming off as being shady to me.
I mean, he doesn't know about John at all. So he's just met somebody while he was inside, and he thinks he's starting a romance with her. So even though we're feeling a certain way about him, he doesn't know that. Like all of his actions aren't based on that kind of knowledge.
Exactly. And so he was in for 4 years. And like you said, he wants a good breakfast. And then he wants good clothes and good conversation. I thought it was cool that he never mentioned sex. I'm just going to say that. There
Well,
are
he did.
speculations he did. Well, he not in his list though, original list, did
Not in
he?
his list, but
No.
he did
Okay.
ask her if they were gonna shoot porn that night.
I missed that. I totally missed that. Oh my gosh. I would have wrote that down in a heartbeat.
They make out in her car, and that's where that scene leaves us. Next, we visit Tony and Angela says it feels so good to have him home from prison.
Yeah, and again, he's talking about this steak, and she's on the sex. So she's about sex, he's about steak, and then he says to her, "Well, you gotta have a full stomach." Okay.
He says he's nervous about everything that's going on, being out of prison and just kind of existing outside.
Yeah, I caught a little bit of hyperactivity maybe going on with him a little bit. I don't know, ADHD seems to not be super focused. Could just be like you said, he's anxious, he's excited, he's nervous, he doesn't know what the hell, he's out and it's weird.
I
And
feel like I would be pretty antsy.
yeah. And then he says because he hasn't been in a car in a long time, like as Angela's driving, he's like pushing down on the invisible pedal to hit the brakes.
Right. He only has a few hours to get to the halfway house, and they're going to stop off and get steak. So they really only do have time for one of the two things, and he's chosen steak. What is she going to say? No, no, we have to do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, he does say to her, but I'm not so sure that this is the reason, but we'll find out. But he says that he doesn't want to treat Angela like a two-bit whore.
Right.
Is this what I really believe his reasoning for this is? No.
No. She asks him what happens if he's late, and he says they would just issue a warrant and there'd be a nationwide manhunt. Sir, you are overestimating your importance here.
Yeah. He's not a America's most wanted fugitive. He's come on, man. But he says that the next date they're going to have. Well, I don't know if he said it or she said it. I didn't write down who said this, but basically, in a nutshell, the next date they're going to have sex. And then they're staring at each other, and she's staring at him, and he's staring at her, and it's super awkward. And he then they're talking about the wedding, and this was so fucking awkward when she's talking about the summertime wedding, and he's like, "This summer?
Right.
You mean like now? Summer coming up?"
She is obviously disappointed that he doesn't want to have a quickie, and she lets us know that it's been 5 years for her. And I think
Yeah.
he said it had been 4 for him, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, although Angela needs some dental work, she seems very nice, and I feel like she didn't need to go this route. Could she get a man her own age? Absolutely. And one that would probably be be very honest and loving to her. Why she went this way, I don't know. But at this point, I'm on board with her friend who basically says that she's just going to be his sugar mama. I'm not getting good vibes from Tony at all.
Yeah.
I don't think his intentions are where they're 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 not good. That I don't know, but that's what I'm on right now.
I love Angela. I would start, if I were her, I would start getting suspicious at this point. You know what I mean? Because he had talked to her on and on about sex, and then he gets out and he's like, I want a steak. And I understand you're probably hungry, but just the way that he starts acting kind of out of the gate indicates that there's something going on. The red flags are being thrown.
And you can see it in her face that she knows this. I feel very bad for her. She made me feel like pretty sad because I could just see it in her face that she was shocked. She was a little worried, a little bit confused. She wasn't nasty. She didn't start fights with him or nothing. So for that, I got to give her credit because I would be saying shit by this point.
So while they're sitting there eating the steak, he says the steak is orgasmic. And I feel like that was poor phrasing considering the situation. Like, he knew that she was upset that he chose steak. He knew that. There's no way that he didn't.
Yeah, no, I think that was a really crappy. I don't think he thought about what he was saying as he said it. I know it being a woman. I know it got her, but I don't think he said it to annoy her or be a jerk or anything. He just wasn't thinking.
Just a dumb man thing to say.
Yeah. Yep.
So for the first week that he's at the halfway house, they can only communicate by phone. This is the first I've heard about this. This is interesting. So I guess maybe just to get acclimated to the outside world. And is it only her, or he can't talk to anybody except on the phone?
So I do know a little bit about halfway houses, just because of the former job I had. They a lot of them don't have anyone living there watching you. It's not like you're in a jail. They're not monitored. You don't have like people that stay there with you. Some of them, I don't know how they're all run. It's just basically, I mean, I have seen full apartment buildings be halfway houses, and then I've seen houses be halfway houses. And they live there and they're checked on and this and that, but they basically just live there as roommates. And it's not like they're monitored 24 hours a day. So, like I said, things are different in every state. Rules are different for every inmate, different halfway houses. We don't know. Hopefully, we'll find out a little more and whether he's actually telling the truth about the fact that he can't see anyone except for talking on the phone for a week.
Right. I would say that if I remember correctly, she called in to check on him when he didn't show up that time, and she was very comfortable with doing that. So I feel like she would check up on this kind of thing. But on the other hand, she would want to trust him. She wouldn't want to find out something like that he was lying to her.
Yeah.
Next up, Cheryl and Josh, and Cheryl's at the hotel doing her makeup to go pick Josh up.
Yeah, it's a interesting room she's got there. So at first I thought she was just going to steal that blanket like she was checking out and not going back there. But I forgot she's staying there for a while. So she's just borrowing the blanket from the hotel, and they need it because they're going to have some fun time together and she wants to be under a blanket.
Under it?
On it, I don't know. In it,
I think she
around
wants to
it,
be on it.
on it.
She says that he has cute nicknames for her, like Turd Burglar.
Turd burglar. Yeah. I could not tell you how upset I would be if my husband called me a turd burglar.
I would be like, how old are you?
I was like, what mentality does it take to call a full grown woman with children that you're supposed to love a turd burglar? How does that make any sense at all? That's like something you'd call like a small child, and even then it's kind of creepy.
It's so weird. So weird. So he wanted to have a baby so bad
Oh,
that he brought her a baggie of his cum to visitation. And he tells her to go into the bathroom and use it. And she said, well, I knew it was all dead, so I just threw it away.
like, did Josh go to school and attend science class, sex education? That's like thinking you can get pregnant off of a toilet seat. Like, what, dude? I mean, you have to. Oh my gosh. I'm pretty sure everyone knows that if you go and you donate sperm at a sperm bank, they have to like freeze it immediately or shit just dies.
Okay, so let's say that happened and it's not a made up story. Why would you ever tell anybody that happened?
I don't know. It's beyond gross. I actually, and I didn't want to, but I'm actually picturing like a woman in a bathroom with a baggie of semen trying to shove it up there to get pregnant, and I wanted to freaking vomit. I'm like, that is beyond level gross.
But
Beyond.
that's happened. Like other prisoners have tried the same thing.
Well, I don't actually know how long this, I mean, okay, so the sperm would stay alive for a little bit, but they usually need like a certain environment to stay alive. You know what I mean? Like it's like how long has he been saving up in a to get a baggie?
Well, I don't know. Was he jerking it right before he came in
Yeah,
there
I
and
don't
then she
know.
ran into the bathroom? I don't know the timing of these events, but it's weird.
So I don't know. I mean, and then how in the world are you smuggling that into your visitation and then somehow giving it to her? Like, what in what universe is this happening? It's so beyond level grossness. I don't know.
It's so bad.
I'm legitimately going to look up the facts about how sperm stays alive and what you can do with it, how long you can save it, where it has to be saved to keep it viable. I'm like, I need to know because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if he's putting that whole damn thing in a baggie and they have like I don't know. I don't want to sound dumb.
Keep me updated so when you find out, then I'll know too.
I'm thinking like if they're all in a bag and they're still in the like liquefied form, like are they just that an environment where they can just like fish? They can continue to live. Like I don't know.
It's a pay lake.
Like why would I ever look this up though? So I never had a reason until now.
Now you need to know.
I just do know. I believe that they have to freeze the sperm at sperm banks in order to keep it viable because right.
Yeah, for any long period of time, but I don't know how long. Like, they say sperm can live inside of you for what,
Yeah.
like 48 hours, I don't remember how many hours, but a minute. So I don't know. I have no idea. I am not I don't even know who would know that. I'm not a
I see.
doctor.
I think it's open to air. It's the open to air thing. I think once they like hit the air and stuff like that, I'm not sure. I need I have to know now. Is
Someone
there a
help
doctor in
us.
the house?
Is there
A
a
nurse?
doctor?
Someone who works at a sperm bank?
So she arrives to pick him up, and she says that his soul will feel free once she gets him back to Texas, where she's from.
Okay, Andrea, let's go back to Utah.
Next up, Lizzie and Daniel's mom calls Lizzie, and she's upset that Lizzie isn't there yet because Lizzie's class ran late what is she going to do about it?
Yeah. So mom's standing on the porch of Lizzie's house, freezing, and Lizzie's not there, and mom's anxious because she wants to get on the road, go get her son.
Lizzie could have called her though, for real. If it's cold out and she's standing out there waiting, she could have called him and like, "Hey, running late."
Yeah, and I mean I don't know, but we do find out something about how Lizzie feels about his mom. So
So they're going to Boise to pick Daniel up and bring him back home.
yeah, she's stressed. Like Teresa's like badgering her. This mom would scare the shit out of me too. I'm not gonna lie. Like she seems like super high strung. Like I don't know.
I feel like she would back down if actually confronted with her behavior. Like she says stuff, but if you were to actually confront her about it, I feel like she'd back down.
We do find out like somewhat of why she's concerned about everything as we go on here, though. Lizzie says, it's difficult to be there for someone that you can't see. But basically, we find out again that she just really hasn't visited him there. And all she does is really call him because she blames everything on like being a full time student and working. But for this, I'm on board with mom because you you could, if you really love someone and you want to see them, you would go to the ends of the earth to make time to do that. So I kind of understand where mom's worries are.
I don't know. I can't imagine not wanting to go see them, but I feel like it would certainly teach a lesson.
Yeah, he does say something that caught me. We do know that he had a drug problem, and she says that he says he wants to he wants this crap to be over because he wants what he's doing to be over. And I thought, well, does that mean drugs? Like, we do know that they can get a hold of and can do drugs in prison. We've learned this.
Yeah.
So now I'm worried he's not actually clean.
He doesn't really look clean.
Mm. Yeah, I was looking at him trying to tell.
Lizzie tells Teresa that her and Daniel agreed that she wasn't going to visit him. And Teresa says, "Well, yeah, he agreed to that because he didn't have any choice." He did have a choice. He didn't have to agree to that. He didn't have to say, "It's okay if you don't come here." Because if something is extremely hard for me to do and somebody gives me an out on it, I'm probably going to take it.
Yeah. I feel like Daniel's a very passive person. Maybe like a little pushover, or maybe he feels like he doesn't actually deserve Lizzie, even though she hasn't really done much for him. I take it back. She has never seen him in prison. She's never gone to visit
Correct.
him. I
Yeah.
just realized. I thought it was a couple times, but she had never
Mm-mm.
seen him.
Now, she was with him before he went in, though. So
Yep.
they have spent time together. And she did mention that he asked her for money at one point and she gave him a little bit, but she said she explained to him that she's a broke student. Well, you
Yeah, I got
know,
something to say about this later on, but that's in another scene. But basically, they're checking in at a hotel, and mom says all she wants is what's best for her son, which makes sense for a mother to say. She doesn't want to want him to be abandoned by someone that he loves. Meaning she doesn't actually feel as if Lizzie loves him on the level that he loves her.
well, yeah, she says that he deserves the best. And if she says she's the best, then she needs to prove it. She doesn't have to prove it to you. She doesn't have to prove it to you, number one. And
Yeah.
number two, your son has a lot of baggage that he's bringing to the
Oh,
table.
yeah, that's exactly my thoughts. I'm like, "Look, mom, your son is not a catch. Your son has a drug issue, and he is in prison for the last 3 years. He is not a catch." I would be worried if I were Lizzie and Lizzie's family, and we know that this is true, that he's going to get out and go back to a life of crime and drugs. And it's a big risk for Lizzie, who's trying to better her life by going to school and working.
Lizzie tells Teresa that her mom doesn't interfere in their life and minds her own business, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And Teresa comes right out and asks her, like, do you love him? And she's like, of course I do. And she wouldn't be driving to Boise to pick him up if she didn't care about him, especially with Teresa.
Now, as is typical of this show, we learn that Lizzie has kept numerous secrets from Daniel. Do we find out what these secrets are? No. And we may not for 3 episodes from now, if at all.
Right.
Maybe next season.
Lizzie tells Teresa that she's concerned because he had told her that Teresa likes to interfere in his relationships, and she's been known to meddle.
Yeah.
And she says she doesn't want to be in a relationship with her. And Teresa said he's living under her roof, and if he does something wrong, she'll intervene. Not your place.
No, not really. Especially not, I mean, hopefully she is going to have him pay some sort of rent so that he starts to have responsibility after he gets a job. But that's just not how this works. He is an adult man
Right.
who likely doesn't want his mom treating him like he's a teenager or a child.
Exactly. Next up, Vince and Amber, and they pull up to the Airbnb and he gives her flowers.
Yeah, they were just chilling in the trunk, and she's just like, "Why didn't you give these to me?"
Which is weird, right? Like, why would
It's
you
almost
wait?
like he forgot. Yeah, he
Maybe he
forgot about
did.
him. That was a obnoxious bouquet of lilies. It was huge.
It was nice thought.
Yeah.
He says he's never been in a serious relationship, and that doesn't surprise me really at all.
Yeah. He seems like a very nice guy, but I think he's just had a very career focused life. He was, in the military. And actually, Amber does say that she's usually with bad boys, and Vince is the whole other side of the spectrum because he is a military man.
Right. Now he says shrimp, pork, and steak because she said she wanted some red meat. I have some news for you about shrimp and pork.
Okay. I do too, because I wrote that down. And what he brings to the table, I feel like that those were all the meats that they were going to cook while they were together in the Airbnb, because all I saw him cook was pork chops. And sir, pork chops are white meat.
White meat. What? She said she wanted red meat, and I had to pause it. And I was like, did I just hear, like, is that what I heard?
Yeah. Oh
I
my
would be
gosh.
so irritated if I was like, I love red meat, and somebody's like, here's some chicken or pork chops.
Yep, red meat for you. So they did, like we said, get an Airbnb, and that she had to contact her parole so that they'll know where she is. So some of these people, it's weird, and it definitely depends on probably what state they're in. So she's okay to be where she wants to be as long as her parole officer knows exactly where she is.
Right.
So she's back on this meat thing. She opens the refrigerator and she's like, it feels weird to open a refrigerator. And I guess that makes sense. Like, we don't think about those simple things that we do every day that these people have not gotten to do, like eat, red pork and things like that.
She gets on this video call with her sister Erin, and she introduces Erin to Vince, and then like Vince goes inside or something, and she's telling Erin, she's like, this is so awkward. And every time she says it, I'm like, it is so awkward. Like, they just don't
I
have that
agree.
connection.
Nope. And you can see it. You can see it from both of them. I think Vince is more on board to give this a shot than she is at this
Oh,
point.
yeah.
So I didn't catch that Erin was her sister, but she does say that Erin has been her and her mom's main source of support. But she's while she's on this call with Erin, and after Vince walks away, she goes, it is really awkward. She's like, it's throwing her off a little bit. And a little bit, I mean, come on. Crazy weird.
At least she acknowledges that he's trying. Like, he's trying, but it doesn't make it any less awkward.
Oh, it's just so freaking weird. Yeah. So Vince is getting the grill ready to cook his red meat pork chops, and he says he's not that best at cooking on a grill. Okay, that's not on a traditional grill that you just turn on the propane and cook. That's a charcoal grill. And man, I agree. Those things are friggin' hard. They're hard to get to start. They're hard to get up to temperature as the coals get hot, and then they're hard to cook on. Those things suck balls, man. So I agree.
But she does think that he looks cute barbecuing.
Mm-hmm. Um, so if she does say in prison that they get real meat once a month, and it's chicken on the bone once a month, and that some of the actual quote unquote meat that they get basically says on the jar or can or whatever that it's not for long term human consumption, which is fucking weird. And I am looking that up at the same time that I'm looking up bags of sperm. Um,
I've
because
heard that, though, about prison food.
I want to know what the hell it is now.
She says you can't 100% know if you love someone until you see if you have a connection. And that is so fair. Like, what she thought was going on is obviously not what's going on. And he doesn't seem to notice that, which is, I think, makes it more almost creepy, but it definitely makes it awkward.
He looks like terrified to me. When they're talking to him, I don't know if this is just the way he looks, but he looks weird. I don't know. Maybe he's just getting weird because she's weird and everything's so awkward. Maybe he'd be different if if she seemed more on board with everything. I don't know.
I don't know either. We do find out that they're sleeping in separate rooms, and she thanks him for the day that he's given to her, and he tells us one step at a time. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's really nice that he's not pushing her or being aggressive or.
And she's lucky. She's lucky that he isn't that type of guy. So for that, I mean, we got to give her credit on who she chose and give Vince credit for not being a creep. She does say that he's going to have a hard time getting her out of bed in the morning because basically this is the first time in a long time she's going to actually sleep in a nice comfy bed in a quiet room. They do go to different rooms, and Vince is like, there's not going to be any sex tonight. And then we see Amber locking the bedroom door.
Yeah, they kiss on
All
the
right.
cheek
Yeah.
before they separate. And then he
Mhm.
says, sex is a beautiful thing. And apparently it's not going to happen. And then
Yeah.
she locks the door.
Yeah.
I would too, though. Like, I wouldn't sleep around a stranger without a locked door.
It depends. It depends on, I mean, with everything that's gone on and how freaking awkward it was, I think I locked the door too.
Next, we're back with Lizzie and Daniel. And Lizzie and Teresa are leaving the hotel to go pick Daniel up.
Okay. So here's where I got something for you. So we heard her say he's asked her for money, but she hasn't given him any money. But she does say that she's spent $300 the entire time Daniel has been in prison to call him. So here's some math for you. 3 years is 1,095 days. $300 divided into 156 days, which is 3 years, is 27 cents a day. If you times that by 7 days, that is $1.89 a week. And $1.89 a week times 4 weeks, which is usually a month, is $7.56.
Hmm.
So, anyways, I don't feel that $7.56 a month is going to break the bank.
I don't know. I mean, some people don't have extra money. She could have given him, $50 here, $50 there. I don't think she's giving him money every day. She's not doing like pulling a Scott or anything. She just doesn't
No,
have the money to give. And she's not going to, like, if you're going to school full time and working full time, you're not going to take on a cleaning gig like Cheryl did to get
yeah,
extra money for a guy who got himself locked up.
I know. And maybe, I mean, maybe she's not, terribly wrong here for not just handing over money to a person who she knows it was a drug addict, so for that, I guess, but she acted like, $300 in 3 years was, like, a lot of money for someone to spend. I mean, I bet she spends more on, Starbucks in the morning, you know what I mean? And this is supposed to be the guy she loves.
But she may not. She may literally be a struggling
Yeah,
student who doesn't have Starbucks money, who doesn't have the extra who doesn't have $50 anywhere
yeah,
to give.
yeah, I guess so. Mhm.
So she says she's waited 912 days for his release. And he says he's nervous and he's changed a lot since the last time that he saw her because he's heavily tattooed. I don't know about heavily.
I mean, they're definitely all prison tattoos, you can see it.
Yeah.
He yeah, he's got a lot of interesting tattoos. He's worried that Lizzie and mom aren't going to get along, of course, again. And Lizzie tells Daniel that his mom is weird and she wants to strangle her or choke her out, which I was like, all right, don't know about that.
How about things you don't say on national television?
Yeah.
So she says she feels like she's going to throw up and she's nervous because she's gained some weight. She's not a big girl,
No, I was like, what? Pardon me? How small were you before? She looks like normal, average.
right? You just look like an average,
You look like a average girl.
you're an average lady.
Yeah. She says that this is the most emotional experience of her life. And she and mom, who don't get along, are somehow hot crying, hugging now and getting all excited together. So
How
freaking
weird
weird.
is that?
Hmm.
So he explains to us all of his tattoos and what their meanings are because they all have a story. But
I didn't write all this down.
as he progresses on with the tattoo, like explaining them, he's like, he stops telling the story portion of it, and he's like, "This one I got," it's like because it was Tuesday.
Oh, some are weird. He's got the umbrella on his eye, upside down umbrella to catch his tears. I don't know why. I couldn't really write all this down. It was a lot, but he's got a stick girl on one of his knuckles with a knife.
I didn't even
No.
try to write all of them down.
It was
If
a
you want to know that
lot.
bad, just go watch that particular episode.
Lot of rambling. I feel like if I was in front of someone and tried to explain all my tattoos, I'd want them to just, like, walk away.
Right?
Like, why am I doing this to anyone?
Next, we're back to Cheryl and Josh, and Cheryl is worried that Josh might not like her. I don't know why.
I don't see that happening. She's she's waiting for him in a random place, and I don't even think I could see the prison wherever she was, and then she just comes walking out with a prison guard and into the parking lot. I wanted to say back to Lizzie and Daniel for 1 second that they're actually in the prison to pick up
Yeah.
but to pick up Daniel, but most of these they are nowhere near the prison, or they're in the yard, or they're in a
Mhm.
parking lot, or they're 2 blocks away, as we've seen in other, you
Right.
know. But so whatever. But yeah, she's walking down the street, and they finally meet and they hug, and he says, walking out of prison, you feel everything. Everything looks good, smells good, you know?
So he shows up there with 2 boxes and then he drops them or he sets them down and he picks her up and he says, she might fight you, but she's very loyal and she'll always have your back." I don't know how he
Yeah.
knows that about her though. Like,
I don't know. He wants her to wrap her legs around him.
yeah,
He does say the new Josh wants to stay out of prison. Well,
the
I
new
hope
jo
so.
She said she was afraid he was going to get into a fight and not get out.
Yeah. Yeah, we heard that before because I guess sometimes prisoners will pick fights with people who they know are being paroled.
Maybe she, like, watched Oz, and that's what freaked her out.
Okay. I'm gonna say Cheryl's definitely watched Oz. She's in this woohoo crazy land. She's in Cheryl's world. they're out in this parking lot. They're by her car, and he's gonna put his clothes on, and he's putting them on in the freaking parking lot. And she's like, "Hey, dude, like I can see the guard up in the tower." I think she said with big titties, but they bleeped it out. Watching you get dressed right now, and he's like, "I don't care," and he's just putting on the clothes.
Yeah, who changes their clothes in a parking lot? That was super. Like, in a prison parking lot 2 seconds after you walked out.
Yeah, I kind of agree with this being, I'd be like, get in, we are getting out of here.
Right?
Go to the nearest Chick-fil-A and get dressed.
He said first things first, he wants to spend some alone time with her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're kissing in the car, and I I honestly, I don't think I actually paid attention much to Josh, but when he was talking and doing his talking head, he looks super normal and average, right? Nothing like,
He wasn't as weird as the stuff he's done.
yeah, I was like, I don't know if this Josh fits what I thought, but
She said God has blessed her with a miracle.
oh Lord.
That is the appropriate response. Next, we're back to Angela and Tony, and Angela said she can't wait to touch him. And he said, "Oh, I'm outside at night."
As Angela says these things, Tony is just like has nothing at all to say, or just says something that totally changes the subject. Oh, Tony, you're so sexy. I love your body. I really want McDonald's French fries right now.
It's like he's trying to change the subject so that he can get away. Oh my, it's weird.
Oh, Tony, I want to spend the rest of my life with you and get married. Angela, are we out of milk?
She's unhappy that he's not more interested in sex, but she says it's okay because the relationship is about more than sex.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, again, like she's like, oh, Tony talked about sex all the time while he was in prison, and she just expected him to be a big horn dog, and that
Right.
is not what's happening here.
At all. He only seems worried about getting to the halfway house on time, which, to be fair, that would be a concern, but he's like, he doesn't care. It's not, he obviously doesn't want a warrant issued for him for being late, but he doesn't seem super nervous about it either. So he gets there to the halfway house 15 minutes late.
Yeah, this drive, they're freaking speeding, and there's a car. She's going 80, and he's like, I want you to go as fast as that car up there, and they do wind up getting there at the awkward time of 7:20. I missed whether they were supposed to be there at 7:20 or 7:30. I don't know if you heard.
I just know that they said he arrived 15 minutes late.
Oh, it was 15 minutes late.
Yeah. So
Oh,
and then they kiss in the car real quick, and then he kind of runs out of the car, and she's like,
yeah.
"Well, now I feel lonely," which you would, because she expected that he was going to have a lot more interest in her, and he really
Yep.
didn't.
No, and she goes, "This is the loneliest I've ever felt." And
Right.
that was very sad. I felt for her.
Definitely. And lastly, we check in with Lacey, John, and Shane, and Shane says this is the best day of his life.
Yeah. She's so happy that she's able to share this moment in his life, the pivotal moment in your life when you get out of prison. Thank God she's there for this moment, like graduation or a birthday. Um, promotion at work. Again, we're on to the sexy talk. He tells her she looks so sexy. Boy, these two, they're gonna build a relationship off of their sexiness.
And then he asks her for her phone pin. And she gives him the wrong pin like 3 times. And I kept wondering, like, what was she going to do? And then I remembered, if you put the wrong pin in enough times, it will lock your phone for a while.
Oh my gosh. That never dawned on me.
So I think that's what she was trying to do, and then it didn't work, so she was forced to open it up. Come on, you don't know your PIN? You don't know your phone PIN, which you put in 500 times a day?
Uh-huh. Yep. I mean, I rarely have to use mine because I have the recognition on, so it unlocks my phone. But sometimes if I wear too much makeup and do my hair, my phone doesn't recognize my face. So I have to put my code in.
That's funny. You don't look homeless today.
Oh, ma'am, are you sure this is you? You actually look like a human.
So she gets a call and he hands her back her phone. He's just like, "Oh, you're getting a call." And she goes, "Oh, yeah." And pulls the car over, gets out, and starts a conversation with John standing outside of the car while Shane is sitting inside the car, like, "Dur, dur, dur."
I know, and he's like, "Oh, I trust her. This is normal. What the fuck?"
This
Okay,
isn't weird at
okay,
all.
Shane. No, this is totally normal that she couldn't have a conversation in front of you. Obviously, it's John. She pulls over and talks to him, and he says, "What are you doing?" And basically, she's on the side of the road, and I'm sure he can hear that she's on the side of a road on a damn highway. There's cars zooming by, and it's loud. And
Right.
why wouldn't he ask where the hell she is and if she's lying? Why wouldn't he? Anyone would. Like, to him, she went to the grocery store and she's home. I mean, I know this is a day after, but still. Or no, maybe it is the same day. It is the same day because she only went to the hotel to get ready.
She's acting super hinky. Like, everything,
Yeah.
the way she's behaving, and I would question her too. When they're done talking, she says if she told John about Shane right now, he would be mad. The fuck you say?
No shit. Oh my god, she says John is a very jealous person. Okay, I think all of us have the ability to be a little bit jealous, but I'm gonna say that Lacey has been giving this dude the runaround and making him suspicious. I'd be paranoid and nervous as hell if I'm stuck in a prison and my fiance is out in the world and I have no idea what she's doing. And then on top of it, she just shady stuff and you can literally tell she's lying. I would
Yep.
be going nuts. I'm gonna say maybe John is a jealous person, but I'm gonna say that Lacey caused some of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And she tells him to call her back later, and he's like, how about no? And
Yeah.
he says, like, "Oh, I know what you've been up to." And I think at this point, it's sort of a fishing expedition where he's hoping he's going to figure it out. He knows something is
Yeah.
up, but I don't think he knows what. And that's what he's trying to figure out.
Yeah, yeah, he's definitely he's very suspicious of her. I'm gonna say this isn't the only time that this stuff has happened. I mean, because we know she's been talking to Shane for a while, so
Right.
she's definitely pulled this shit before, and she's just you can tell when someone's habitually lying to you. Even someone who is fully not as aware as John seems to be, or in tune with when someone's lying, you still feel it. Shane's like, "Oh, I trust her." And I'm like, "Dude, please don't because you're obviously trusting the wrong person."
How do you say, like, on one hand, that it's weird that she got out of a car to take a call, and then on the other hand, but I trust her?
Yeah. Yep. And she says she's not ready to tell Shane about John, and then she basically says it's stressful juggling Shane and Sean.
Chin, chun,
She said Sean.
shan,
It's stressful handling Shane and Sean.
chun. She had a feeling that she's going to have to choose between them soon. Well, you fucking think.
I know. She probably shouldn't have chosen two men with names that would cause her to call them different names. Like
Oh my god.
like Shane and John, and then like she's like I don't know.
Chin, chun.
The Facebook group loves Lacey's mispronunciations of Shane and John.
So who is your VIP for this week?
why do I never think about this? I'm going to say Angela. I'm going to go with Angela because I feel bad for her, and I just feel like she's hanging on. And I know this has to be extremely hard for her. And she's been this devoted for this long. And I'm just like, I really just hope that this woman smartens up at some point.
Mine is also Angela for trying to keep a positive attitude after being disappointed.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all been there. You know what I mean? Maybe not in that not we've all met a felon and then he didn't want to have sex with us, but we've all felt that way at some point in time in
Yep.
our life.
Yeah, we've all, been on the felon train.
Your POS?
Lacey, still, I have a feeling she's going to make our list a lot.
Yeah, Lacey sucks, but for me this week it was Teresa because I feel like she just needs to mind her own fucking business.
That's another good one, too. It's okay to be protective over your child, but not at that age. And honestly, she should be more concerned whether her son is going to go back to crime and drugs, and she should be focusing on that and not Lizzie.
Exactly. So that's about it for this week's episode. If you enjoyed the podcast, head over to Apple or Spotify to rate and review. If you'd like to continue the conversation, join our group on Facebook at Love After Lockup Locked Down. Listen every Wednesday wherever you find your podcasts and keep those notifications on to be the first to catch bonus episodes.
And in the meantime, don't fall in love.
And don't get locked up.
First date at Walmart, keeping it low. Told the clerk, don't judge me, I'm on parole. I brought roses, okay, 1 rose from a gas station. She said, oh babe, now that's validation. We be vibing in a halfway suite. Microwave dinners, romance elite. She my ride or die, she brought me a phone. Even snuck it in once, pre-release song. She hold me down like a key-o with charm. Except she don't mace me or twist my arm. We write vows in Sharpie on my court docs. Judge said no contact, but we beat the clocks. Love after lockup, cuffed and proud. Matching jumpsuits, now we rockin' the crowd. She said, don't mess up, I said, bet. Now we're TikTok stars with no regrets. So here's the love and second chance thrill. From a concrete bed to Netflix and chill. They said, don't catch feelings, but I caught a case of butterflies, girl, not just in one place. Ankle monitor beep. Oops, curfew gotta bounce.